passing, control, and vision. All of them were key aspects of Xavi's game. And today we're looking into one of the greatest midfield minds the modern football has seen to gather a list of 3 things every midfielder should learn from Xavi Hernandez. Now I'm sure you're gonna learn something new watching this episode, as I will be listing things that are a little bit more unique than vision, ball control, and other obvious things Xavi is always connected to. Let's go. Number 1. La pausa. We're starting off with a big one, a term that's very difficult to explain and even harder to learn. But Xavi is one of the true masters of la pausa, a tactical term that has multiple meanings in football. To break it down in simple language, la pausa could be explained as temporarily slowing down the game and holding on to the ball to wait for new and better options to happen on the field. In many situations, this means that as the player with the ball deliberately delays his pass and holds on to the ball, he will often draw defenders closer to him, which creates space elsewhere that can then be exploited by speeding up the play again, either with passing or dribbling. Another common scenario happens when the player with the ball, again, waits before releasing the ball just long enough for his teammate to be in the absolute perfect position, quite literally pausing the game for a moment. And Xavi is the master of using la pausa. Let's take a look at this goal against United. Most people would let go of the ball now, but Xavi waits and waits, almost making it seem like he's holding on to the ball for way too long. But utilizing la pausa while Vidic also forgets about Pedro, Xavi finds the perfect moment for the perfect pass. Here, another example of la pausa happens in a simple looking midfield setting. Xavi receives the ball, and although a bunch of teammates are making runs, he holds on to the ball, waits for Busquets to create open space before finding Iniesta, who's all by himself. So what does this mean for you? Well, la pausa, when performed correctly, is a way for you to take your playmaking ability to the next level. It's a tool for creating pockets of space on the pitch by strategically slowing down the game before moving it forward. Keep in mind, this requires exceptional football intelligence and lots of confidence and skill, so you actually dare to hold on to the ball for what can seem like an uncomfortably long amount of time. You also need teammates who understand the concept of la pausa. Teammates who can make those runs, fill up the new empty spaces, and have faith they will actually receive the ball from you. Again, la pausa is difficult to explain, even more difficult to master, but watching Xavi consistently execute this skill time and time again, well, it's worth looking into and something every midfielder should aim to learn. And you knowing a thing like this exists already puts you ahead of tons of other players. Now, you just need to start executing. Number 2. Positioning is key. Okay, let's have a look at something super freaking cool. This is a genuine report card of a 14-year-old Xavi Hernandez playing for La Masia. And in between all the small Spanish text, we can see that out of the about 15 different criteria, Xavi has been named excellent in 2 disciplines: ball control and positioning. In fact, the scouting report suggests that positioning is undoubtedly his best quality. He's always where he should be and always offers support and an option for teammates. Remember, this is what a coach or a scout saw in the 14-year-old Xavi, but positioning is without a doubt an attribute he perfected and carried with him throughout his entire career. Great positioning of a center midfielder means that you understand when, where, and how to move on the pitch to make yourself available for a pass, and when to move away from a certain area to create space for your teammates. However, this is unfortunately something a short YouTube video can't fully teach you. But as Xavi has shown, paying attention to how you move when you don't have the ball can become one of your biggest strengths on the pitch. The simple concept of pass and move is a great place to start. After letting go of the ball, always aim to find a new area where your teammate can find you. You can also learn a lot by focusing only on center mids when you watch football on TV and seeing how the best players out there move without the ball, just like Xavi did in his days. And lastly, number 3. Physique matters, size doesn't. Let me try to explain. Xavi has been quoted saying, "Physically I'm limited, but I've survived using my head." And if we look again at the report card of the young Xavi, his balance, speed, and flexibility were all marked as average. And in fact, none of his pure physical attributes were better than good. But even as a small player, Xavi has shown the world that the lack of pure size and physical appearance doesn't necessarily mean you can't compete at a high level. As long as you can make up for your lack of explosive, lightning-fast speed by observing and analyzing the game faster than your opponents and thus making faster decisions. You get the point. Now, of course, to compete at a high level, you need to be athletic, specifically in the context of football, with great stamina and at least an average level of pace. You need to be agile, in full control of your own body, and be able to execute high-intensity actions throughout the 90 minutes. And the point I want you to take away here is not to be discouraged if at a young age you lack physical attributes the players around you might possess. It's a common misconception amongst young players that muscles and sheer size equals great physique. And Xavi is a living example of what football-specific athleticism can look like. He had a wonderful low center of gravity and was quite rarely injured despite playing a huge number of games, which, looking from the outside, tells us he's done his share of the right type of strength and conditioning throughout the years. So don't just focus on hitting the bench press unsupervised trying to get buffed just for the sake of it. As a center mid, you're most likely only gonna slow yourself down. Work on football-specific strength and conditioning like Xavi. No need to be a bodybuilder. And that wraps up today's episode. I truly hope you learned something new, became that much more football intelligent, and can exit this episode with something to think about. Let me know in the comment section below what topics we should cover next, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And with those words, I'm out.